I think for many of us, dearest, it can come as a surprise to learn that love and war often go hand in hand. Opposite forces, yet this connects them, doesn't it? The fiercest passions of gods and mortals. Isn't that right, Lord Ares?
Mortals are so bent on clinging to their lives that many of them would gladly kill for it. The surge of emotion which they feel, one passion is no different from another, Lady Aphrodite, dear. I so anticipate the day you finally arrive upon Olympus. There are few amongst us here with interests such as those I think we share.
There are at least a few of us who share such interests here. Isn't that so, Lord Ares? As for you, dearest, you take all the time you need.
Wars waged over love, my kin. Can you imagine that? The Lady Aphrodite and I can endlessly discuss such circumstances. I trust from time to time you stop to ask yourself how come you choose to fight. Not that you need a reason, of course.
Oh, Lord Ares, truly there isn't the need to cloud our little godling's thoughts and judgment with such comments, is there, Let's give him what he wants, and we can carry on in private about that.
I wished only to speak to you in private once again, my kin, except, you see,
dear cousin, that some members of our family are predisposed toward the unspeakable. I caution you around my half-brother is all. Now carry on.
You interrupt me once again, dear sister. You know I do not care for that. I warn you to stay out of my affairs. I shall aid my kin as I see fit.
You only do as you see fit, Lord Ares. Mind that you continue pulling in the same direction as us all.
The cold of death is quite becoming of the goddess Demeter, do you not think so, my death-dealing kin? She is becoming well accustomed to it too.
I think that you forget yourself, Lord Ares, sir. For I am much your elder. My famines had already slain the mortals by the tens of thousands by the time such thoughts of doing so first crossed your mind.
Ah, my kin, I was just inquiring with Lord Dionysus here, under which circumstances are the greatest mortal feasts of all prepared, because I have a certain hunch regarding that. Yeah, Ares, I will hand it to you, man. There's nothing like a feast after a war, all right. Provided you're on the surviving side, that is. Otherwise, I guess they'll be feasting with you down there, Zag. Well, my hellborn kin, I have to say that there are times I wish I could have been acquainted with your father somewhat more, if you'll forgive my saying so. My father and my uncle here, they're predisposed quite differently than I.
Perhaps if you were not so odd and made more effort to be somewhat more approachable, Ares, then we'd have more in common, you and I. Should you need any tips on that, why, you just let me know.
Zagreus, I wish we all could hear you so that good Lord Ares here might be persuaded that my powers are entirely for different purposes than his.
Perhaps our skill sets once were meant for different purposes, dear Artemis, but who are we to doubt the end result? Observe what shall transpire once we grant our kin our combined might.
Zagreus, I was just hoping for a little privacy before this hunt, which is consistently my preference here. Except, you see, Lord Ares always seems to come sniffing about for a sign of any hunting instruments.
Why, my dear Artemis, the hunt is but a prelude to a war, is that not so? For if all mortal kind knew naught of hunting, why, they would not be nearly so adept at killing one another.
Look, Lord Ares, if I lend you better marksmanship ability, you think that you could bother someone else?
Young Zagreus, once you arrive, do tell Lord Ares here that his great power's not worth anything without my own. Wars have their causes, among which many I control.
I do not question that your influence can stir a mortal's impulses toward war, O goddess Demeter. At least we can agree that our domains are quite compatible. You know, Zag, maybe once you get here you could get old Ares to just lighten up a little, you know, man? Always dragging down the mood with talk of blood and nastiness, all sorts of stuff like that. Why, my Lord Dionysus, I fail to see why such discussion is perceived as unbecoming of a feast. A successfully conducted war is certainly a cause for celebration, is it not?
Now, little Hades, you must know by now I've other nephews here, don't you? For instance, Ares comes to mind, the god of war. Some mighty wars have taken place at sea, is that not so?
Indeed, they have, good Uncle Poseidon. Mortals show great ingenuity when war is concerned. It drives their sense of progress more than anything at all. Perhaps someday they shall wage war even in farthest skies.
Nephew, by my divine authority, my oft misunderstood son, Ares, now shall lend you a small token of his power. I'll make him helpful yet.
It shall be exactly as you say, Lord Father. Your wishes are identical to mine.